This month's mission intention is also a familiar prayer of the Holy Father because, again, we're dealing with a situation that doesn't seem to go away but only gets worse. Last June, we prayed for Christians who live in areas of violence, and just last month, we prayed for Christians in the Middle East. This month, we're praying for Christians who suffer persecution and discrimination, asking that they may be granted their human rights, equality, and the freedom to live their faith. I don't think a week goes by in which there isn't a newspaper or television report about a church being bombed somewhere, or Christians being threatened and killed, or Catholic bishops and priests being arrested. In the aftermath of World War II, the nations of the world gathered to prevent such a war from ever happening again. Knowing that the basis for peace is justice, in 1948 they passed the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Article 18 states, "Everyone has the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. This right includes freedom to change his religion or belief, and freedom, either alone or in community with others, and in public or private, to manifest his religion or belief in teaching, practice, worship, and observance." Now, the persecution of Christians is clearly a violation of human rights. But these rights are not simply granted by a human organization. They come from God, who created every human person in the divine image and likeness. Every person has certain rights because of this dignity and freedom which reflects God Himself. While we might not see outright persecution in the U.S., there are other, more subtle ways that this threat to human rights can arise. There are subtle forms of discrimination against Christians that occur in jobs and education and in the workplace. In fact, recently there seems to be an effort to silence the voice of Christians, saying that you cannot mix faith and politics as though morality and ethics were solely religious matters and not things that are at the heart of our laws and public policies. So, persecution and discrimination against Christians is going on around the world, far away and close to home. And we need to be concerned about anyone whose human rights are being violated, but especially our suffering brothers and sisters in faith. Now, why is this a mission intention? What does this have to do with the work of spreading the gospel? Actually, that should be pretty obvious. Without the freedom to practice their religion, Christians cannot be the missionaries that our baptism calls us to be. After His resurrection, Jesus commissioned His apostles to go and make disciples of all nations. As contemporary followers of Jesus, we have received this same commission. Now, that doesn't mean we go around forcing people to become Christian. That would be against their human rights and would contradict the very nature of Christianity, which is a religion of love. As Pope Benedict often says, Christianity does not impose, it proposes. And people are free to take it or leave it. But we need to be free to live our faith openly and to witness to it. Otherwise, we would not be fulfilling our mission to share Jesus with the world. If we have to hide our beliefs and religious practices because of the threat of discrimination or persecution, we won't be the visible witnesses that Jesus has called His church to be. We are the body of Christ, and that body has to be free to live its call to make God present to the people of today.